Hello, 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 and welcome back to another edition of Fan Talk, your favorite podcast by your favorite fan. That is, of course, me, Kyle Bernschley, in the house on this Wednesday. Wow, we're finally back to Wednesdays. A few weeks there on Thursdays and other days of the week. Regardless, it is great that you're here. Welcome. Fan Talk's a podcast by me, a fan, and you, a listener as a fan, are like, great, perfect. Let's get it. Let's go after it. We're talking all things NFL, all things college football, a little bit U.S. Open tennis as well, so stick around for that. Fan Talk's a podcast you can find anywhere you get your podcasts. I also upload on YouTube if you like the video version. Check it out. Leave a like, subscribe. I appreciate it. Tell your friends. Fan Talk, we got the sign, we got the Rogue One posters, no candle quite yet. Although I was in Bath & Body Works the other day, and they have their full fall selection. Honestly, they've had their full fall selection for a month now. They brought it out kind of right after July ended, which is kind of silly of them. But hey, people love fall, and it's a great time of year. All right, guys, let's jump right in. I am so excited for this episode because not only are we jumping right into college football, we have week 2 of college football. We're right in the thick of it. NFL football starts as well as truly the most wonderful time of the year. This is the most excited I get on the podcast when we can talk NFL, we can talk college football. It's just super, super fun. So sit back and relax. It's going to be a fun episode today. If you're new here, welcome. This is something that I do every single week during the NFL season. I have an NFL football pick'em group. It's through ESPN Fantasy. You're welcome to join. I'm going to link it down below. In fact, I encourage you to join, because I pride myself on my ability to make correct NFL game picks. What does that mean? I'm very good at picking the winner of each game. It's that simple. Who's going to win? Make the pick. And so there's a game that you can play where you can challenge your friends, you can challenge your community to see who can make the most correct picks. So I will link that down below. If you think you can pick more NFL correct games than me, then put that to the test. Join the link down below, and it should be super fun. But on the podcast, I go through and I pick the weekly winners. So each week I go through and I say, this is who I think, this is who I think, and then I keep a running tally, and it's super fun that way. So we're going to start off the episode that way, and we'll get to college in a second. As you can see, I wear my Oklahoma shirt. We'll get to college in a second and talk about College Game Day in Norman, Michigan versus Oklahoma, and then, of course, we'll finish the show with the U.S. Open tennis, which has been super fun. If you haven't been watching it, you should. All right, so let's start with the NFL, and I usually don't do this where I wear 2 different teams at the same time, but for the sake of this segment, I'm going to put on my Denver Broncos hat. That way I can wear Oklahoma and Denver at the same time. But let's go to NFL Week 1. Here we go. It has arrived. Can you believe it? I almost can't believe it. I'm almost like, wow, interesting. Like, really? So here we are, Week 1 in the NFL. It kicks off tomorrow night. Again, today's Wednesday. Tomorrow night, Thursday Night Football. The Dallas Cowboys visit the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles defending Super Bowl champions. And if you remember last year, they knocked off the Chiefs, denied the Chiefs a three-peat. Thank you, Philly. And they start the 2025 NFL season at home on NBC national television against the Dallas Cowboys, who have some new players. They've lost George Pickens. They've lost Rico Dowdle. They've lost Micah Parsons, which is the big one. But Dak Prescott is back. He says he's healthy. He says he's ready to make a push. Jerry Jones and that entire fan base believe that this is their year. Will the Cowboys upset the defending national champions in Philly? I say, no way, bro. Jalen Hurts has got this Philadelphia team flying high. They had a pretty good offseason, so, I mean, if they do take a step back, it's not going to be this week. I think the Philadelphia Eagles win Week 1 over the Cowboys. Give me the Eagles. Game number 2 is actually on Friday. Kind of something a little fun here. This game's going to be played down in Brazil. This is the second year in a row that we've had a Brazil game, Week 1 of the NFL. The Kansas City Chiefs against the Los Angeles Chargers, a little AFC West matchup. 2 teams I'm very familiar with, being a Denver Broncos fan, as we play them twice a year. Kansas City Chiefs, as I mentioned before, lost the Super Bowl last year, but we're going for a three-peat. So they've been in the Super Bowl like 4 of the last 5 years. They're looking to run it back. Travis Kelce just got engaged to Taylor Swift, as you know. So a lot of people are speculating this might be Travis Kelce's last season if they, get married anytime soon. But the Chargers coming back with Justin Herbert, very talented guy, just has never been able to win. They've only made it to the playoffs that one time, and where they lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were up 28-0 at halftime and ended up losing that game. And the Chargers, very talented team, but just have not been able to win. Can they start 2025 off on a fresh note? I say no. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs. As much as I hate to pick the Chiefs, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Xavier Worthy, whatever wide receivers they have that aren't currently suspended or arrested that are going to play, they're going to get the ball because Patrick Mahomes will find a way to get them. And Isaiah Pacheco is back as well, and that defense is still pretty good. So give me the Kansas City Chiefs. Now we're finally to Sunday. Sunday's got a ton of games. I'm so excited to watch Red Zone and just soak it all in. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers visit the Atlanta Falcons for an NFC South showdown. I'm really high on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I love what they did last year. I love what they did before. Baker Mayfield and this offense is absolutely cooking. When Chris Godwin gets healthy, Mike Evans, Cade Otton, they went out and got Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. If you remember, he's a rookie, had a phenomenal career there at Ohio State. Now he's on Tampa Bay on an offense that throws the ball like none other, and Baker can sling it left and right. Holy cow, this offense is going to be insane. 400 yards a game, maybe not that much, but Baker's going to sling this ball. Some good running backs in Bucky Irving and Rachaad White as well. And the defense has a few good pieces as well. I really like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to take out the Falcons. Michael Penix Jr. is going to take over the reins as quarterback for the Falcons. They still have Kirk Cousins that he can, step in if need be. But Penix didn't look terrible last year. I think he started 2 games last year. Didn't look terrible. But week 1 against a very good Tampa Bay team, I got to go with the Bucs. So Buccaneers. Another division matchup, you got the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Cleveland Browns. Now I'm going to go with the Bengals right out of the gates. This is the Bengals' year to really take down the Chiefs, take down the Bills, take down any opponent there in the AFC. This is the Bengals' year. They really need to step up. Joe Burrow had the long hair in training camp. He was looking like Anakin Skywalker out there about to, kill the younglings as he's in the Jedi Temple. He's out there and he's ready to go. Jamar Chase, that's a connection that's so fantastic. Chase Brown's a great running back. T. Higgins, wide receiver too. This is a Bengals team that frankly should have made the playoffs last year, coming off a disappointing season. Ultimately did not because they did not win their week 1 matchup against an easy opponent. They lost at home against the New England Patriots. So this year they get an easy opponent in the Cleveland Browns, albeit on the road, so perhaps a little more challenging. But they need to win this week 1 game. If they win this week 1 game, the trajectory of their season is going to be a lot better. If they drop this game, then we might have a repeat of the 2024 season. Cleveland Browns are going to start Mr. Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is probably old enough to be your dad, but the quarterback room is kind of a mess right there. And as you know, in the NFL, if you don't have a solid quarterback room, a solid quarterback option, then your team struggles. So Cincinnati Bengals. Dolphins at Colts. Speaking of quarterback struggles, Colts going with Daniel Jones over Anthony Richardson. That should tell you how bad Anthony Richardson is. He just hasn't arrived. He's just not there yet. As talented as he may be, he's just not ready to be an NFL quarterback. So they're going to go with Daniel Jones week 1. They host the Dolphins. Tua's back. As long as he doesn't get a concussion and can see straight, I think the Dolphins win this game. Even if Devon Achane is out, he's questionable. He should be able to play bearing a setback, but get that guy going. Tua's a pretty good quarterback, honestly, when he's healthy. Give me the Dolphins over the Colts. Las Vegas Raiders, New England Patriots is the next matchup here on Sunday. The Raiders, new coach Pete Carroll, new quarterback Geno Smith. New England Patriots, Drake May. The Drake May era continues. He played a good chunk last year. He is now the quarterback of the New England Patriots. I like the Patriots at home in this one. I think the Patriots have an upside to be good this year. I don't know and don't really feel like they will. They might be a 7-10 team, 8-9 team. But a lot of people are pretty high on the Patriots. And I do think between them and the Raiders this week, I am going to take the Patriots. I think the Raiders have a lot to prove. They have Ashton Jeanty now. But I just don't know if they put it all together in week 1. It might take a few weeks. It might take a home game or 2, whatever it is. But I like the Pats in this one. Give me the Patriots. Cardinals and Saints. This is an easy pick. Give me the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know if the Arizona Cardinals are necessarily going to be a good team, but the Saints are probably going to be the worst team in the league this year. And that's because their quarterback room is frankly a mess. Spencer Rattler is going to be the starter. It's not looking good for their quarterback room. So give me the Arizona Cardinals. This is a good opportunity for Kyler Murray to get started on the right track. Obviously, he played at OU, so I love Kyler Murray. Get the offense going. The offense has kind of been hit and miss over the last few seasons. Hey, we know you can run the ball, but let's get the passing game going. You have Marvin Harrison Jr. a very good wide receiver. You got Trey McBride, very good tight end. Let's see what the Cardinals can do this year. My expectations aren't terribly high for them, but they can start off week 1 with against the Saints. Ooh, I don't know if this is quite a revenge game because Aaron Rodgers' time in New York wasn't that long, but the Steelers visit the Meadowlands. The New York Jets will be hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback for the Jets last year. Justin Fields was the backup quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers last year. And they're both now starting for their respective opposite teams. So Justin Fields for the Jets, Aaron Rodgers for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like the Steelers in this one. Steelers always find a way to be good no matter who their quarterback is. They were good with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields last year, and they were good when Kenny Pickett was there. They're just able to put it together, and Mike Tomlin's a good coach. They always have a solid defense. TJ Watt is the best defensive player in the league year after year, and Justin Fields, as good and talented as he is going to have to struggle with this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. So give me the Steelers in this one. Giants and Commanders. I like the Commanders. Commanders had a very good season last year. Jake Daniels, very good player. He's got Scary Terry back. Terry McLaurin finally signed that extension, that contract. And the Giants are going to be, their quarterback's going to be probably Russell Wilson. Jackson Dart will probably come in at some point during the season, but it's going to be Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston if things get bad. So give me the Commanders at home. Next one is the Battle of the Big Cats. Carolina Panthers and Jacksonville Jaguars. This one I actually was a little tougher than I initially thought. My initial thought was, Jacksonville Jaguars. But then I was like, the Panthers might be able to make some noise. Bryce Young, he's getting better. He's not quite there yet. He hasn't quite arrived. And thankfully for him, the Panthers are in on him. They used a number 1 pick. They made a trade with the Chicago Bears, 2-3 seasons ago to get Bryce Young. So they're focused on Bryce Young. This is his year to prove himself. I like the Carolina Panthers. I hope they do well, honestly. But I will stick with the Jacksonville Jaguars. It is at home. Duval, new coach in Liam Cohen. He was the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year. So he can really help get Trevor Lawrence going. Hopefully he does. He's got Brian Thomas Jr. coming back for a second year. A good 1-2 in the run game with Tanks Bigsby and Travis Etienne Jr. Frankly, I think the Jags will be so-so, but week 1, they'll start off with a dub. Duval. Tennessee Titans versus my Denver Broncos. Here we go. We are finally getting to the afternoon games. Let me start with Tennessee. They got the quarterback, QB1, number 1 overall pick, Cam Ward, out of the University of Miami. I think this Titans teams will get better. It depends on how well Cam Ward can handle NFL defenses, how well he can handle the pressure. But I think this Titans team will get better, which is not hard to say as they went 3-14 last year. So if you go 5-12, then that's considered better. But I don't know. This is a team that could win 6, 7, 8 games maybe. I think their ceiling is probably 8. But look for this team to win 6 or so games. They do start off with a very hard test, and I'm not being biased. If you've watched any NFL football, the Denver Broncos have had a top 5 defense. And not just last year, but the last couple of years, they've had a very good defense. Last year, arguably the best defense in the league. This year, people are calling it Orange Crush 2.0, an homage back to the Orange Crush defense back during the times where they had the Orange Crush jerseys back in the day. I like Denver at home. I'm going with Denver Broncos. Bo Nix has a lot to prove this year. He did very well his rookie season. Can he avoid the sophomore slump? Can Sean Payton help him do that? They have new weapons. RJ Harvey at running back. J.K. Dobbins at running back. That was a position that they were kind of struggling at last year. Pat Bryant, Troy Franklin, Cortland Sutton, of course, returning Marvin Mims. A lot of good players on offense. Evan Ingram came over from Jacksonville. Offensive line is still intact. The defense is gotten even better than last year. So give me the Broncos at home. Niners at Seahawks. I like the Niners in this one. Seahawks now, of course, with Sam Darnold, Cooper Kupp, a few new players, new faces, and new places. The Niners, this is their comeback year. A lot of teams had an off year last year. The Niners were kind of in that category. This is the year that they can bounce back. Hopefully they can have a healthy Christian McCaffrey, a healthy Brock Purdy. You still have options in George Kittle, Juwan Jennings, Brandon Ayuk. They might be struggling a little bit at wide receiver, but their defense is still good. They still have a good running game. They still have a solid quarterback. Give me the 49ers. All right, this might be the game of the week. Detroit Lions at Green Bay Packers, Lambeau Field, Jordan Love, Jared Goff, Dan Campbell. It's going to be super fun. I like the Packers in this one. This might be my upset pick of the week. The Detroit Lions are as good as ever on offense. I think they lost a few pieces on defense. Packers, same thing. Solid on offense. Maybe lost a few pieces on defense. If the Packers can score points, they will win this game. And I think they will. I think that Jordan Love has shown us that he can be clutch. He is 1-3 against the Detroit Lions, so that is a stat to know that the Lions, he's only really won one game of the 4 games he's played, but he has an opportunity to change the narrative, to get ahead of the game, and to start week 1 with the win, which I think he will. Give me the Cheeseheads. Texans at Rams. I like the Rams in this one. Matthew Stafford's getting older. His back's hurt. I think he should be fine. But he's got Puka Nacua, who was a top 10 pick in fantasy drafts this year, as you know, if you've done a fantasy draft. And he was projected number 9, I believe, or number 8 or number 9. So I drafted him in a couple leagues with my first pick. He should be really good. He should continue on that incredible season that he had from last year. Kyren Williams is the running back. The Rams have an opportunity to be good. Although I do think that they maybe take a step back this year. As a team that did decent last year, I think this year they'll take a step back. But they will win at home against the Houston Texans, who are missing Tank Dell for a good chunk of the season. They won't have Joe Mixon, their running back. Nico Collins, if you have him in fantasy, he'll be getting a ton of targets, a ton of points. So start Nico Collins. But I do like the Rams to take this one at home. This might be the game of the week as well, depending on who you are and what you think. But Sunday Night Football, the Baltimore Ravens visit the Buffalo Bills. Now, last year, these two teams played, and Buffalo got the best of Baltimore. I like this game being in Buffalo. I think it's great. Buffalo is a football city through and through. Josh Allen just married Haley Steinfeld, so he's feeling good that he gets to go home to her every night. This is an opportunity for Lamar Jackson. I mean, he's gone up against Josh Allen before. Can he go up against these AFC West big dogs like the Cincinnati Bengals, the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs? Can he beat these teams? I think before the Baltimore Ravens ever get to the Super Bowl or prove that they can, they need to beat these teams. They need to beat the Buffalo Bills, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Kansas City Chiefs, and they need to beat them and prove that they can beat them consistently. So until they do that, I don't know if the Ravens are going to be Super Bowl contenders. Or they will be Super Bowl contenders. I just don't know if they'll get there. This is a tough week 1 matchup. I am going to go with the Buffalo Bills. But don't be surprised if the Ravens pull out all the stops and surprise us there on Sunday Night Football. We end with a Monday Night Football, ESPN, Minnesota Vikings, Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears, of course, with Caleb Williams, second-year player. Minnesota Vikings quarterback is J.J. McCarthy, second-year player. He didn't play last year because he had a season-ending ankle injury in the preseason. So, of course, they went with Sam Darnold, and he had a phenomenal year. But they ultimately decided we got to stay with J.J. McCarthy. We drafted him 2nd overall. We got to roll with him. So Sam Darnold left for Seattle, and it is J.J. McCarthy's time. A lot of people like the Minnesota Vikings in this one. And I think they will be good with Justin Jefferson, Aaron Jones Jr. returning. But I'm going to take the Bears, perhaps another upset pick of the week. I'm going to take the Bears at home. I think Caleb Williams, while not totally impressed by him, I do think his upside is there. The fact that Chicago was like, we would prefer Caleb Williams over, Justin Fields, over another quarterback. We're going to go with Caleb Williams. Tells me something. So they trust him. A lot on his shoulders, though. So can he prove that he is the quarterback there in Chicago week 1, Monday Night Football, all the lights on him? I think he will. Give me the Chicago Bears to finish out week 1 of the NFL. Holy cow, that was fun. Let us catch our breath for just a moment. Again, this is through ESPN Pick'em on ESPN. It's a fantasy football game. I will link it down below in the descriptions. All you have to do is make the correct picks each week, and you can compete against me. You can compete against whoever else is in the group. Please join. It was super fun last year. We had about 10 or 12 people in the group. I, of course, won the group, so can you dethrone the champion? I hope so. Please join. All right, let's shift our focus from NFL to college football. And I apologize, this episode will be a little bit longer because obviously making the NFL picks takes some time as I give some analysis. But there is a new top 25, AP top 25, and I'll just highlight a few of the changes. Ohio State became number 1. Number 1, Texas last week dropped all the way to 7. Miami jumped all the way up to 5. LSU jumped all the way up to 3. That was a huge win over Notre Dame. I think the committee really appreciated that. I know Iowa State jumped up to 16. Alabama dropped all the way down to 21. But my Oklahoma Sooners remained at 18. And for you local fans, the University of Utah got to number 25 with BYU close behind. They got number 26. Kansas State and Boise State dropping from the rankings. So this week, there's, again, still early on in the college football season, there's not a ton of big-time matchups. I will say College Game Day is going to Norman, Oklahoma. Oklahoma will be hosting number 15 Michigan. Michigan coming off a big win against New Mexico. This should be a really fun game. John Mateer for Oklahoma set a quarterback passing record for the first game of the season. He threw for 392 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception in the win over Illinois State. Michigan with Michael Underwood, I believe his first name is. Underwood, their quarterback. Anyways, a new era there in Michigan. It should be a fun game, top 25 matchup. Again, that is College Game Day. I really wanted to go, but I have a work trip obligation in Las Vegas this weekend, so I won't be able to make it. I really want to go to game day and catch in the game and all that. Tickets are like $200 though, but sometimes you just got to shell it out. So be watching that game. Another game you could be watching, Iowa and Iowa State, the battle of the Hawkeye State. That's always a fun one. Iowa State, of course, ranked, as I mentioned before. Utah State playing Texas A&M. Not saying you should watch that game, but that's a local team. SEC action already. Ole Miss, Mississippi versus Kentucky. And that game will be on national television. That should be a fun one to watch. Ole Miss, Jackson Dart's down in the NFL, so can they continue their great run? Arizona State, Mississippi State, little SEC Big 12 action. But plenty of games, even if they're not blockbuster games, plenty of games to be watching here this week in college football. Let me end with some tennis. Football, September, October, November. Let me end with some tennis. It is the U.S. Open, and that's currently going on right now. If you've never watched tennis, sit down and watch some tennis, especially in these big majors. And the big major tournaments are like the U.S. Open, Wimbledon, French Open, Australian Open. You've probably heard them before, even if you've never watched them. You probably know a few of the legends like Serena Williams, Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal. Like, you probably know some of these big-time names. But we have 2 players on the men's side that are the next big 2. Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. The final 4 is almost set on the men's side. Sinner's got to play Musetti later today. But Djokovic made it to the semifinals. He'll play Alcaraz. They've gone up against each other. Djokovic is kind of like the grandpa of the sport now. But it's a crash course, collision course for Sinner and Alcaraz. That final will be on Sunday, so next week I'll talk about it, and it should be really fun. Combined, they've won 7 of the last major titles. So will that happen again? Probably. I really enjoy watching it. You should definitely go check it out. Sinner plays tonight if you got nothing going on a Wednesday night. On the women's side of the ball, Sabalenka, she's like the top number 1 player out of Belarus. She's in the Final 4 against Jessica Pegula. Another American, Amanda Anisimova, she's playing against Iga Swiatek out of Poland. If you notice, all these players are from Europe. They have European names. Tennis is big in Europe. But there's an opportunity for an American to get to the championship. So we'll see what kind of happens there. Coco Gauff, of course, crashed out again after doing really well in the French Open, not being able to replicate that in either Wimbledon or U.S. Open. But if you got nothing going on, go check out some U.S. tennis, U.S. Open tennis. It's super fun. I enjoy it quite a bit, but it's a great time. It's a very refined sport. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Fan Talk on this Wednesday, Again, NFL season starting. If you'd like to join this Pick'em group, I'll link it down below. If you enjoyed what you saw here in the video, please subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, please give me a review. And go have some fun this weekend. It should be a beautiful weather weekend. Beautiful time for college football. Fall is just about here. Fantastic time of the year. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week for another edition of Fan Talk.